She remarked, "Don't attend my graduation. You're not suitable enough for my friends." I merely nodded while she was on stage beaming for pictures. Meanwhile, I was at her parents' home delivering a folder containing proof that I had been covering her tuition, rent, and living expenses for 3 years without their awareness. Now, she has blocked me from their family group chat. My ex-girlfriend graduated from college yesterday. While she posed for photos in her cap and gown with friends who believed her parents funded everything, I was in her family's living room showing them receipts that proved otherwise. The expression on her mother's face when she grasped the truth was worth every dollar I had spent. Let me rewind 3 years. I began dating Samantha, a 21-year-old, while I'm 28 and work as a construction project manager for commercial projects, earning about $95,000 a year. Good money for my area. Samantha was a junior at the state university, studying business and living in a decent off-campus apartment. She told me her parents assisted with significant expenses like tuition, but she managed her living costs through financial aid and a part-time job. Her dad owned a small insurance agency, and her mom taught elementary school. They were a middle-class family, nothing extravagant. About 6 months into our relationship, Samantha mentioned she was struggling to pay her rent, claiming her work-study job had reduced her hours and that financial aid wasn't covering as much as she expected. "How much do you need?" I asked. "Just $800 this month. I can probably sort it out, but it's stressing me during finals." That day, I transferred the money, thinking it was reasonable to help. The next month, she had another shortfall, this time for car repairs. Then it was textbooks, and then some family emergency cleaned out her savings. These were always reasonable amounts with good explanations, always temporary. Over 3 years, this became a pattern. Monthly rent help, money for groceries, gas money, occasionally larger sums for textbooks or car issues. She was always thankful and promised to pay me back when things improved. I kept basic records because I'm organized with money. Nothing obsessive, just noting the amounts and dates in case she wanted to keep track of what she owed me. The total over 3 years was about $42,000. It wasn't enough to financially break me, but it was definitely a significant amount. I never pressured her about repayment since she was a student, and I understood that money could be tight. Besides, we were discussing moving in together after graduation, maybe even getting engaged. I thought we'd sort it out as a couple eventually. Meanwhile, Samantha's lifestyle never seemed to align with someone who was financially struggling. Regular shopping trips, nice dinners out, spring break vacations with her sorority sisters. When I asked her about it, she said her parents occasionally helped with extras or that she saved from her job. It made sense. Many college students rely on credit cards and family support. About a month ago, things began to shift. Samantha became more critical of my appearance, my job, and my social skills, complaining that I didn't fit in with her college crowd and that we came from different backgrounds. 2 weeks ago, she dropped a bombshell. "Mike, we need to discuss graduation next weekend." "What about it?" I replied. "I already got time off work. Actually, I've been thinking, and I don't want you to come." I looked up from my laptop, confused. "What do you mean?" "It's going to be mostly college people, my sorority sisters, people from my program, and their families. You'll feel out of place." "Out of place how?" I asked. "You're older, work construction, and didn't go to college. It's just a different crowd. I want to enjoy the day without worrying about whether you're comfortable or fitting in." I closed my laptop, feeling insulted. "So I'm an embarrassment?" "It's not personal, Mike. It's just that this is my day, and I want everything to go smoothly. My friends' families are all professionals, doctors, lawyers, business owners. You'd stand out. I knew you'd make this difficult. Look, after graduation, we can celebrate privately, just the two of us, but for the ceremony itself, I need you to understand why it's better if you stay home." I nodded, understanding. That night, I went through my records. Every Venmo payment, every bank transfer, every time I handed her cash for rent or emergencies. 3 years of financial support for someone who thought I was too blue-collar to be seen at her graduation. I organized everything chronologically, made copies of bank statements, Venmo transactions, and receipts where I had them, and put it all in a folder with a simple summary showing dates, amounts, and what each payment was for. Then I looked up her parents' home address. The truth came out Saturday morning. While Samantha was getting ready for graduation, I drove to her parents' house in a nice neighborhood with well-kept homes. Clearly a comfortable area. Her dad, Robert, answered the door. I had met him several times at family gatherings. He seemed like a solid guy who worked hard for his family. Mike, what brings you by? Aren't you going to the ceremony? Actually, that's what I wanted to discuss. Do you have a few minutes? Sure, come in. Linda's getting ready, but we have time. Linda, Samantha's mom, came out from the back room in a nice dress, clearly preparing for the ceremony. Oh, Mike, how exciting is today? Our little girl is finally graduating. You must be so proud of her, too. That's actually what I wanted to discuss with both of you. I sat down at their kitchen table and pulled out the folder. I need to show you something. This isn't easy to share, but I think you should know before the ceremony. Robert and Linda exchanged glances, concerned. What's going on? I opened the folder and revealed the summary sheet. For the past 3 years, I've been helping Samantha with her living expenses. She told me she was struggling to make ends meet with just financial aid and her part-time job. I spread out some of the bank statements and Venmo records, rent assistance, grocery money, car repairs, textbooks, emergency expenses, always small amounts, always temporary. She said she'd pay me back once she got established after graduation. Robert picked up one of the statements. How much are we talking about? Just over $42,000. Linda sat down hard in her chair. $42,000? I showed them the breakdown. Usually $300 to $500 a month for rent help, plus occasional larger amounts for emergencies. She always said money was tight, but that you were covering tuition while she handled living expenses. Robert scanned the records. Mike, we've been giving Samantha $600 a month for spending money and emergencies, plus we pay her rent directly to the apartment complex. My stomach sank. You pay her rent? Linda was looking through more statements. We set up an automatic payment 3 years ago, $750 a month straight to her landlord. I pulled out my phone calculator. So she's been getting rent money from both of us, plus the $600 monthly allowance? Robert added. She told us that covered groceries, gas, and miscellaneous expenses. The math was devastating. Samantha had been double-dipping. She also told me her work-study job cut her hours, but then I'd see social media posts of her at parties and events during times she was supposed to be working. Robert was visibly upset. We asked about her job a few months ago. She said she was working at some boutique near campus, making decent money. I never saw any evidence of regular employment. I said, no work schedule, no uniforms, no complaints about difficult customers or managers. Linda was adding numbers on her phone. If we've been giving her $1,350 a month, and you've been giving her similar amounts, she's been living on almost $3,000 a month as a college student who supposedly needed financial help. Robert said. The room got quiet except for the sound of Linda softly crying. There's something else, I said. Yesterday, she told me not to come to graduation, saying I wouldn't fit in with her crowd and that I'd be an embarrassment around her friends from professional families. Robert looked up sharply. She uninvited you? She said I'm too old, work construction, didn't go to college, and would stick out in a bad way. Linda stopped crying and became angry. After everything you've done for her, she doesn't know I'm here. As far as she knows, I accepted her decision and stayed home. Robert closed the folder. We need to have a serious conversation with our daughter. When Linda asked, today after the ceremony, he replied, let her have her graduation moment. Then we're getting answers. I stood up. I'm sorry to bring this to you on such an important day. Don't apologize, Robert said. We needed to know. This explains a lot of things that never quite added up. As I walked to my car, I could hear them talking inside, their voices growing louder. The confrontation came later. I went home and around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed with texts from Samantha. What did you tell my parents? They're asking weird questions about money. Call me right now. I didn't respond. An hour later, she called, but I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 6 minutes of confusion and panic, demanding to know what I'd said to her parents, insisting there must be some misunderstanding. She called 4 more times, but I ignored them all. Around 8 p.m., Robert texted me. Mike, we talked to Samantha after graduation. She admitted to taking money from both of us. We need time to process this, but we wanted you to know we appreciate your honesty. She's staying with a friend tonight. At 9 p.m., I received more texts from Samantha. They're furious with me. They want me to pay back everything. This could have been handled privately. You've ruined my relationship with my family. Still, I didn't respond. On Monday morning, Robert called me. Mike, Linda and I spent the weekend talking. We want you to know how sorry we are that this happened. Samantha took advantage of your kindness and lied to all of us. I appreciate that, Robert. We've made some decisions. We're cutting off her monthly allowance immediately. She needs to get a real job and start paying back what she essentially stole from you, and she's not welcome at family events until she makes this right. That seems reasonable. Linda removed her from our family group chat and informed the extended family about what happened. She needs to understand that actions have consequences. On Tuesday, Samantha called me directly. Mike, please, we need to talk. My parents won't speak to me. They cut off my allowance. I can't even afford groceries this week. Interesting problem. Please don't be like this. I made mistakes, but we can work through this. I'll get a job and pay you back gradually. With what skills? You haven't worked in 3 years. I have a business degree. I'll figure it out. But I need my family back. Can you call my parents and tell them you're not angry? But I am angry, Samantha. About the money. I'll pay it back. About graduation. I was stressed and said things I didn't mean. About 3 years of lies and using me as an ATM while planning to dump me for being embarrassing? That's not fair. I never used you. Then what would you call it? A long pause followed. I was trying to manage a complicated situation by lying to everyone who helped you. Mike, please. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. You can start by getting a job and paying back the money, all of it, to both me and your parents. That's going to take years. Then you better get started. I hung up and blocked her number. The final update is that 2 months later, the aftermath has been a lesson for everyone involved. Samantha eventually got a job as an administrative assistant at a small office, making about $28,000 annually. Robert told me she's living in a shared apartment with 3 roommates, taking the bus to work and learning what a real budget looks like. She's been making small payments toward what she owes, $50 a month to her parents, $50 to me. At that rate, she'll be paying us back for the next 30 years. Robert and Linda have been firm on their boundaries. No family events, no holidays, no casual visits until she shows real accountability. They're hurt but resolute. She had every advantage we could give her, Linda told me during one of our occasional check-ins. Good home, financial support, education. She threw it away for short-term gain. Samantha has tried various approaches to regain everyone's good graces, apology letters, showing up at her parents' house unannounced, getting relatives to advocate for her. Nothing worked. She even reached out through mutual friends, asking them to convince me to be reasonable about the debt. When I showed those friends the bank statements, they stopped calling. Last week, Robert updated me on her current situation. She's apparently complained to coworkers about her unfair family situation, claiming her parents are being vindictive over a misunderstanding. She still doesn't get it, Robert said. She thinks we're punishing her for a simple mistake instead of holding her accountable for years of deceit. The money doesn't bother me much anymore. I can absorb the loss, and it was worth it to learn her true character before making any bigger commitments. What bothers me is how little she valued the people who supported her for 3 years. I thought I was helping someone I cared about succeed in school. Instead, I was funding a lifestyle built on lies while being told I wasn't good enough to be seen with her. The exclusion from graduation was perfect timing. If she hadn't shown her true colors that day, I might have continued supporting her indefinitely. Her need to be embarrassed by me led directly to her exposure. She wanted me to stay home because I wasn't presentable enough for her friends. Instead, I used that time to present the truth to her family. The best revenge wasn't planning some elaborate scheme. It was simply letting the right people know what was really happening. Samantha chose to lie, steal, and disrespect those who supported her. Now she has to live with those choices. Her parents chose accountability over enabling. They lost a daughter temporarily, but kept their integrity. I chose to walk away from someone who viewed me as a source of money rather than a partner. That was the best decision I made in this whole situation. The folder I delivered that day contained more than just bank statements. It contained the truth about who Samantha really was beneath the facade of a grateful, struggling student. Sometimes people reveal exactly what they think of you. When they do, believe them the first time and act accordingly. Samantha graduated with a business degree funded by people she betrayed. Now she's learning about business the hard way. When you lose your customers' trust, you lose everything else.